I know there's a reason.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, good one.
I
I love
mean,
it.
you know, you know.
Oh, look, my girlfriend Sam is here. I love it when my worlds collide. Yesterday, just really fast. I know we're
Yeah.
gonna because
Good
we already.
morning, everyone. But
Good
yes,
morning, everyone.
really fast. Yeah, yeah.
Yesterday, so I have my little local friend group. We were sending texts, and people
As
were like,
opposed to your national and international friend groups.
"That's group. That's right. These are my Wacoans and my Wacoan sisterhood of boss babes." So
Okay.
everybody was like sad yesterday, and so we were sending videos of us dancing in our offices. And I said, "I swear to God, when I'm famous, if y'all leak these, I swear to God,
Yeah,
I'm
listen, it's over. You know they're
all
going to
of
be
you."
leaked because TMZ is going to will pay a fortune for those videos, and your friends are going to be like, screw her. Um, good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh. We are talking about conferencing, and Laura, right away, show all the conference swag. It's funny
Yes,
because I just grabbed, I grabbed my cheesy, thanks for always liking my
yes.
post mug. And because there's so much stuff to go through. I
Didn't
just got
we do
back
that at
yesterday.
SHRM? I think we need to make it a regular. I'm just gonna name it. We're just gonna
Well,
do
we've
the
already
swag
been
for.
invited back for Transform next year. Just
Really?
yeah, and we'll do the swagaliciousness. They
When we do it,
love swagalicious last
I
year.
love the swag, and John and I both love grabbing the swag and talking about it. Like usually, like we go in this direction, and I'll meet you in 5 minutes. And what do you got?
Right,
What do you got?
right.
And we always have to get an extra one if we think it's super cool. And that,
Yes. And if it's something really, really weird and like inappropriate, then I try to get one for Steve Brown. The which, by the way, so if y'all have never, I know, are you going to show
Steve
this?
Brown is in
Yes.
SHRM HR Quarterly. Oh,
Look at him. Look at him. That is amazing. We congratulate you, Steve, who's probably not on this morning because, quite frankly, he just spoke to 26,000 people, and he
yeah.
thinks he's
I
somebody.
mean,
He
you,
thinks he's somebody.
it's
The
a big deal.
he is a big deal. He is a big deal. Cheers to Mr. Brown.
Great.
Sold out of his books at the conference.
I mean,
I mean,
people line up. He's your
line
bestie, and
up.
you make fun of
I
him.
I do make fun of him. That's why I stand near him sometimes when he's signing books because people are like, "Oh my God, I can't," and I'm like, "Listen, listen, he's ugly. Just take."
Don't picture him naked. Whatever you do.
Ugh.
I
Uh,
hear it so mean. I
no,
love him.
legit. Everybody knows, right? We are BFFs, and he honestly did. He sold out of books. Like he had a great conference experience, and his wife Debbie came to the conference, and my wife Kathy came to the conference, and so we all got to hang out. It was super fun. That part was awesome.
I love that. I mean, and the thing is, like, he's put the work in. No lie.
No
He
lie.
has has put me on Friend Friday. He's tagged me on Friend Friday for like 10 years.
10 years, right?
Like he's consistent,
He's so
always
good
with
at
a
that.
smile,
He
I
wants us to get back on the X. He wants us back and to get the
yes.
conversations going again. I know,
And
but
he, I mean, he likes people. He's one of the few HR people that really love humans.
he really does. I mean, I give him a hard time just because I can, but he really, really does. And I'm going to say I want to make sure I do shout outs as well. He had a great conference. Tim Sackett had an awesome conference. His session was killer and
Was
packed.
it different? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he went through. So the Talent Fix Part Two is out, and so he went
mhm.
through basically Chapter 8 of the book is what he went through. I only know that because that's what he told us. He referenced Chapter 8. I don't want y'all to think I'm that much of a stalker, but
And I
little bit of it.
I love Tim Sackett. Just to be clear, I just wanted to know if he had his different presentation. I saw him last year and was able to do it all the way in Michigan in November. You remember?
Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
love Tim Sackett and the Michigan Recruiting Association.
And he did a great job, honestly. And his book was there, and he was doing a awesomeness with that. And our love bug Heather Bussing was there with her new book, which was
which is
awesome.
fabulous. I mean, she's so smart. She gets it and she
Yep.
explains very difficult, complex things in a way that people get it.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw the hubbub, Jackie, but
No.
let me. I don't know if you can share Jeff's. Hey Jeff, good morning. You can share
Yes.
Jeff's little note. So our keynote for day one was Jason Sudeikis, also known as Ted Lasso. For those who watch that show, obviously he's done a bunch of other things. And that morning, it was announced that he had chosen not to come to the conference to do his keynote.
Are you serious?
Yeah, did you hear this or no? Am I telling you this?
No.
Yeah.
Start over. He didn't show?
No. ESPN had now for those of you who follow him, he has been a Caitlin Clark fan through her collegiate career. Like he's been following her and going to games and all this stuff. So there was a WNBA game in Chicago. Her team was coming into town to play, and it was supposed to be that evening. ESPN was going to televise it and needed to move it to the afternoon. And so he opted to not come to speak to 26,000 people as the keynote and instead go to see Caitlin play. Literally, I wish I was making this up, a block and a half down the street.
Shut up.
Yes. So they kept showing pictures of him sitting at the game, standing up and yelling and cheering and stuff. And like, when you call in sick to HR and they catch you on the jumbotron, like all these memes are out there. And so legit, he did not come. And
Wow. Thank
um,
you, Jeff,
and
for
he,
adding
I mean, as far as we know, he didn't get paid. So he was like, "That's cool. Like, I don't need the money. I want to go watch this basketball game." And bless his heart, uh, he was replaced by Al Roker, who I want to tell you something
Stop.
was hilarious. He
I
did an
love Al
interview
Roker.
style with our board chair and at SHRM, and he was so funny, like off the rails a little bit, but funny off the rails, just sweet. Talked about his journey, and those of you who obviously know him from the Today Show, like his health issues and the things
Yes.
that he learned from that, and so funny. So here goes Robin. I know all the theories. So what we now know is that Jason did say a week prior that yes could happen, is because they were talking about changing the game. So they
I
obviously did
like
not announce
Robin's
it. I
side
know,
note.
I know. She's conspiracy theorists. Here we go.
Is it though? Is it? Is it?
Listen, I love all the memes that were like, this is because people who all the HR people who were going to the SHRM conference actually think Jason Sudeikis is Ted Lasso. I want to just say something about that. I really don't think we're all that stupid.
I
Um,
mean,
and and
does he,
right,
but does Jason know that literally thousands of people can make it a company policy to never talk about Ted Lasso at work?
you know what you're saying this. There were like half a dozen people who had Ted Lasso related presentations that they were going to do and like scurried back to their rooms to change the whole thing. Like
The
they
weather.
had to.
All of a
Yeah.
sudden, they changed it to a weather to the weatherman.
Yes. Here she goes. I wonder if Princess Kate played into this too. Conspiracy. Here she goes. Robin's got it all. That Louisiana sun.
Probably.
She's all about the conspiracy.
Listen, Robin's been fired up. I don't know if you've been. Robin's fired up this week.
Super fired up. But I was like, really? You don't think we could tell the difference between Ted Lasso and Jason Sudeikis? That's fascinating because these are some of the same people who went to Work Human and saw George Clooney. Well, who'd you think he was?
I
George
think some
Clooney or
people
one
did
of his
it
characters?
because remember when we saw at Work Human, what's his name, Dan
Who do we see?
from Schitt's Creek,
Oh yeah, Dan Levy. Yeah,
and a lot
everybody
of
was
people
like,
didn't know that Dan Levy doesn't live in Schitt's Creek.
yeah,
Like he's actually an
yes,
actor.
yes,
There were
yeah.
there were rows of people that were like,
And people, honestly, it's the same people who are like, oh, Julie Louis Dreyfus when she was at Work Human, they're like, do the Elaine dance. I'm like,
right.
honestly,
I mean,
she
come on,
give me a
people.
break here.
No.
So, I mean, it is. Wait, what? Oh,
What you
Ted
doing?
Lasso me in. Oh my gosh, Joe. I was like worried for a second. I thought this was X-rated. So I was like, but I got it now. I got it.
You are
I
so
listen,
funny.
Al Roker, props to Al Roker, did a great job. But we were talking before we started the show.
Yep.
26,000 people were in Chicago. Listen, y'all, that's a conference. That's a
Yes.
con.
And when has we seen that lately? Like that's huge. Like it doesn't sound like,
It is big.
yeah.
It is big. Listen, and I walked miles. Anybody else who was there, please throw into the chat. Like, what's your step count like? I was 7.5 miles.
Seven and a
You
half
know,
miles.
yeah, daily. And so just because have you've been to Chicago before, right? To
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
Performance Center.
Yeah.
You
By
look,
the
I
mall,
got
right? It's the one where they had it and you,
it's over it's on both sides of the street. It's all
yeah,
over the place, right? It's massive. And naturally, I first of all I had the privilege of speaking twice, which was awesome. Um, and I went to go see our buddy Tim Sackett speak before I had to speak. So I had to leave his a little early so I could get back to my room.
yeah.
They purposely, now I'm sure this isn't true, but I feel like it is. They purposely put him on the second floor, east side of the building, facing the lake, as far away from where they put me on the south side, bottom floor. The walk there alone must have been 2 miles. I'm like scurrying to get back so I can be ready for my session, but
Listen,
I didn't want to miss all of Tim's.
that's
I mean,
a huge session. I
crazy.
remember it was at Workday at their conference, at the Workday conference. I walked from the intro to my booth. It was 15-minute walk. So that was like a mile. Like,
Yes. Yes. And you have 26,000 people doing this. And it
but
was,
it was great seeing all the people.
and there were so many great things about it in terms of connection. And we're talking about how to conference well. Honestly, that's the biggest deal, I think. And you and I both, I think, our bread is buttered similarly. We're people, and so
Yeah.
the relationship component, like we just love seeing all these people we don't get to see hardly ever, or at the very least in person. We might do video stuff with people, but
That's
when you really get to like run and hug them and all that good stuff, like it's awesome to see these people.
You know what I think is important though, and we were talking about this the other day. Like I'm a hugger. I'm a big hugger.
Hmm.
John's a hugger.
Yep.
And I don't. I usually ask after I hug if I'm allowed to hug. I try really hard, but internally at
Can I
TextU
touch
we have
you? Is it
buttons.
okay if I touch you here? I already did it, but is it okay if I do that?
What about lower? And so we try. We have buttons so you can see it, and it's a certain color. Like if you're a hugger, if we can handshake, if it's a fist bump, if it's a
Yeah.
please give me at least 10 feet, had buttons. So especially when you, as people are growing, I expect that there are some other conferences that are traditionally large that are going to get back to their normal size this
Yes.
year. Let's
Yes.
still be respectful. COVID is still a thing. Let's be
It
respectful.
is. It absolutely. I mean, and obviously other things as well. I mean, people walk away from these conferences if you don't, carry your hand sanitizer with you, right? They probably pick up some stuff. It is, but for me, I'm like, I know the risk, but I need to hug you. I need to just let you know that I love you and I'm here. And so
That's
there
it.
were so many people there that it was really awesome. And just think about it for a second though. I played the song I played at the beginning because 26,000 people, by and large, averaged about, just for registration, not for hotel, not for airfare. I'm not talking about any of that expense. 2 grand a person on average for registration, roughly two, right? That's some money.
Bank.
That's some money. Now I'm not saying they didn't spend. They did have, Kelly Clarkson there and Jay Leno, and I'm sure that they had to pay.
Jay Leno's funny.
He was actually very funny.
I saw him at Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. And I was like, And it was another thing. He was a backup for somebody else. And when I saw him, I never laughed that hard. I didn't know. I mean, I knew he was the
Yes.
host, but I didn't know
Yeah.
he's funny, like my kind of funny. He's a funny
Yes.
guy.
Yeah. He was, I mean, he's in his mid 70s now, all white hair. I mean, honestly, we are just start digging. I mean, we are just decrepit. And, it's awful. Listen, y'all didn't see us like before this show got started this morning. We're both like trying to find settings.
Where is the clap button? We're like, ooh, I know it's not cute.
But follow us on social media. We're cool, right?
Hello. But if you're at a conference with all those thousands of people, you need to, before you go, make sure that you make appointments or little things where, hey, I'm going to register at this time. I'm going to sit in the lobby. I'd love to see you. Make sure you don't miss out and do your research to figure out where you want to speak so that you know, okay, maybe I see this one because this is closer to this person or whatever it is. Or if you have any personal needs to understand the layout, especially when you're in these Chicago or Boston or San Francisco or San Diego, these conference centers, you can get lost or on the wrong side real easily.
And listen, and I know Robin's on here and she's going to love this. The Ubers and Lyfts, yeah, it was crazy. There were shuttle buses all over the place as well, but you're moving 26,000 people. I mean, there's just going to be traffic and hangups, and it's just that there's nothing you can do about it. But there were people walking the streets and heading down Michigan Avenue and heading over here and then into Chinatown, and I'm like,
oldest profession.
Right. And here they are with their badges on, walking down the street, with their badges on, walking down the street. And all I could hear in my head was Robin, like, take them off. Like you are absolutely letting people know, oh, I don't belong here. I labeled myself so that you can know I don't belong here. Please, please come and give me a hard time.
Right. No.
That's not conferencing well. When you leave the conference and head out onto the streets, take it off. Even if the party you're going to requires you then to put your badge on, put it in your pocket and take it out when you get there.
That's right.
I mean, this, honestly, I could hear Robin screaming this out the windows to people. Take your badges off. It's like dead giveaway. It's not safe. It's not safe in cities.
Also, don't stand next to Robin because she might push you. I'm just saying.
You're hilarious. For those of you that don't know, it's alleged, even though a couple of us saw it.
Allegedly.
Robin will push you off a sidewalk if
allegedly. I have fallen twice, and both times Robin has been there. I'm just saying.
Robin has been there. Let's be clear, though. Desperately needing to have a cigarette. So I think something happens in the nicotine-ness that she just pushes people out of the way. And you were down for the count.
I was out. I mean, I know smoking is dangerous, but I didn't know it had nothing to do with the cigarettes. It's just the company you keep.
That is hilarious.
What is that sound?
What happened there? Uh-oh.
That scared me. Should we call 911? Are you frozen? I can't hear you. Now we can't hear you. No. No. No, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Not at all?
Now I can, but it's like a lag.
It's a lag? Is it really? Stupid.
But the lag is kind of funny, actually.
Ay.
Is it a lag for everyone else? Put it in the chat. It's a lag for me.
It did sound like bacon was sizzling. I did hear it myself. It's because I clapped. Maybe I freaked the microphone out when I clapped. Am I still delayed?
Say something else.
Say something.
You're fine.
Am I okay now?
You're fine.
Yeah. I won't clap anymore. This thing, I think I triggered it when I clapped. Oh, yeah.
Listen, I think it's probably restream. I mean, to be clear.
Oh, Lauren said it might be LinkedIn because she couldn't stream her show today. The struggle, honestly. Thanks everybody for letting me know it's better. Thank you. But the good conferencing that you're talking about, by the way, about scheduling time with people. Look at the app. I have to tell you, when you and I think about eons ago, because we can, uh,
Right?
right? There weren't always apps for the conferences. Like you had to wait to get there and get your book to get your
That's right.
sessions. Right? You remember this?
Yes.
And the ease of not only scheduling your sessions but also who's coming. Like there's an
That's right.
attendee list in a lot of these. You could search and connect for people ahead of the conference. The app has to be part of your conferencing, well, like the
Yes.
pre-planning type
Free.
stuff.
Even the goofy tribute, just do it. Just
Yep,
do it. There's a reason that it's there, and it's to help you engage, and you will feel better. Future you will be glad that you played the little game, that you found out where people were from and different things like that, because it helps you connect before getting there. There's
absolutely.
often times where, I mean, imposter syndrome is real, and just intimidation and haven't seen people. There's so many times where I've seen people go to conferences like this that have tens of thousands of people and then say, "Oh, I didn't talk to anybody and I didn't connect." That's on
Yes,
you, boo.
that
You
is
There's
on
no way.
you.
I understand, and so, but everybody has it, and so you have to make it part of your shtick. And using those conferences and saying, "Hey, I'm not going with anybody from my organization. Is anybody? Where's the people from Texas, or where are the people who work in technology?" Like, there are other people that are by themselves. I wish they had. I used to be part of an organization that had first timers, and it was for everybody who came, and they had a button, and it said, "It's my first time," and everyone would. You made a point of saying
Yes,
hi because you knew, and it's like, let me explain a little bit about the lore of what's going on and what you're seeing. We need one for this podcast, actually. Is it your first time watching the podcast?
we need
Because you
like
might
a
see some
baseball
lag.
scorecard kind of thing because people are like, I don't, this is all over the place.
What is
Yes,
happening? I thought
yes
this
it
was
is.
HR. And you're right. So,
But it is, and I see that Lauren put in about like conferences with Tinder like apps. First of all, let me be clear about conferences. There are people at conferences use Tinder, just straight up. So that's number one. Number two, that is true, right? To be able to connect with people, and I want to say too, connect with the speakers. Like if there's a particular session you're going to, like if it allows you to connect with the speaker ahead of time, because that interest that you're showing, there's a lot of speakers are going to look for you. Like if you come up, you're like, hey, I reached out to you, and we're like, yeah, 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 thank you so much for doing that, and you have a conversation ahead of time. You see the person at the conference, you follow up perhaps with questions about the material that's been presented.
I can tell you, if you see me and John interrupt us, it's not important.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because
I
we're just going to
promise
pick
it's
up
not
with
important.
wetting our pants
Yeah,
right after
it
we're done
looks
talking.
serious.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. If we're not laughing, it's because we're talking about somebody. So you should interrupt
Yeah,
us.
like, and if we're whispering, it could be you.
Oh my gosh, right?
Like, usually we're just talking about ourselves. Like, I
Yes.
have such a headache. I need a tissue. My nose is running. Can you see it? Like,
Can
usually,
you? Yes, I need chapstick. We have like lots of issues. I right. I wish I was kidding. The other thing about conferencing well though with
gastrointestinal. I
gosh,
got a little of the
Tums.
IBS.
You have Tums. Do you have Tums? Do you have Tums? Do you have
Do
Tums?
you have
Do you
tongue?
have Tums? Do you have Tums?
I always have
We're
them.
passing it back and forth, the four of us.
That's right.
I need this. I need this.
That's right.
And oh, I don't know who this LinkedIn user
Oh,
is. I
LinkedIn
hate that it doesn't show this, but I
user.
really appreciate
I
that
love.
we give the
Oh,
best hugs.
I
Thank
love
you.
LinkedIn
We do
user.
try. I would also, just to add to that connection thing, if you're a vendor, um, having a booth or exhibiting, or even again at some conferences you get to at a certain sponsorship level, you're sharing either demos or content directly from your organization. You ought to do the same thing in advance, like connect with people. Don't sell to people, but look to connect with people. Some companies are doing, like, they do happy hours, or they have suite parties, that's a Vegas thing, at the top floor and all. Like, reach out to some people ahead of time and say, hey, hey, Jackie, this is John from Humoriso. Really just want you to know I appreciate all the work that you're doing, and follow you for a long time. We're hosting a party, at the top floor of such and such. It isn't an all night. It is an all night thing, but we don't need you to be there all night. It'd be great if you could stop by. Would love to connect with you just to make sure that we have some time to chat. Like, be genuine about it. And I have
Did
to
you
tell
see what
you,
Robin said?
what did she say? Oh, I'm telling you, she's not
I
lying. She
I
is
believe
not
it.
lying. The amount of sex that went on these past few days, I'm sure is
Shut
off the
your
chart.
mouth.
I'm sure it's off the charts. Do I have any metrics? No. And if I did, you should worry for me if I had metrics on how many people are actually doing the nasty. But it it happens. I First of all, what you laughing at? I don't know why you are laughing. It
Because you're funny. I
it
think you're funny.
is true. The idea of being intentional, not only just for those recreational activities, but intentional in terms of why you're there. I have to tell you, it's expensive. You know this. It's expensive to have a booth at these conferences. It's
Yes,
expensive. Why
yes.
are you sitting behind a table looking down at your phone while everybody's walking by? You
Yeah,
have to,
don't do
right?
it.
Like
The booth thing.
pregame,
That's what I'm always like. Listen,
pregame.
get out there.
Yes.
There's people and get other people to network with you. If you are behind the booth, it's always nice. Like, have you seen anything? Is there anything I need to check out? And understand what's going on within the industry with these vendors. How is your business going? Well, HR tech has been a little wonky right now. There's a lot going on. We're seeing how is your company using AI? How are these things? And there's a lot. There's a lot.
And reaching out to somebody like Jackie in advance to say, if you're one of these tech vendors, because I think HR tech is a great example specifically, and saying, hey, would you be open to a half an hour or an hour at our booth?
Yeah.
We want to promote that you'll be there. We're wondering if you would be willing to sort of answer questions of people coming by who are curious about how they determine um, when tech is needed, when it's time to sort of insert another layer into the tech stack or remove a layer from the tech stack. Like, lean on these folks that are coming who have this expertise and partner with them. Right? It doesn't. I had the privilege of doing that at a booth this past week where they asked me to come by for a while, and it was ask John anything HR related. Like, you have an HR question, just come and ask John. And people came over and were like, here's our circumstance. We're multi-site. We've got this portion that are hybrid, this portion that are on site every day. How do we work with culture? What do we do when technology, a piece of the technology isn't working as well as we need it to, but you have legacy leadership that's like, no, we can't change, right? Like, these are real questions that practitioners are facing, and they were like, I want to pick your brain. It was great to sit there and take. It's easy, and vendors should be smart about that sort of stuff.
Well, I love what Lauren said, and it says like the most impactful as a vendor, the coffee chats, the happy hours, the parties, and and that's
Yes.
the time where
Yes.
all the people who are at vendors seem to be terrified when they're having the happy hours. Everybody knows nobody's fooling anybody. That's your time to shine.
Yes.
And that's when you don't feel like it. That's
She's a
your time.
mess. Robin is all whipped up, everybody,
Robin is
today.
fired up. I did want
I
to say
mean,
I'm going to put it
but
in the
she's
chat.
totally right about the daily paper.
She is absolutely right. But she wrote an article this past week, and I'm going to put it in the chat about attracting talent in the hospitable space. I'm going to put it in the chat
Oh,
on
good.
LinkedIn because it's really, really good. It's really, really good. So I'm
Oh,
going to put
Steve
that
Brown
in the
just got here. Thank God he didn't hear the beginning of
Hi,
the show.
girl.
Hi, girl. Listen, the while you're putting that in there, there are the other thing about conferencing well, you need to network because for two reasons on either side of an equation. One, you may need some of the talent that you wind up chatting with and meeting at this conference. You may be able to say, oh, I talked to so and so at the conference 3 or 4 months ago. We now have a particular need in our organization. I'm going to directly connect with that person that I met and connected with at this conference to see if we can have a chat about a potential role within the organization, at least to interview and get that going. And on the other side of it, you may need a job in a few months, or you may want to put yourself out there for a potential opportunity. Not that you're in, in dire straits where you are at the moment, but now someone has heard you share. They understand your areas of expertise. They may reach out to you to say, hey, I know we haven't talked in a couple of months since we met at the conference, but there's a role that's opening up at our organization. And I thought of you. Do you mind if we chat about it? You want to build your network that way, right? Like that's ideal.
That's right. Um, I love that. I love that Steve is here. And what he said, it's the truth. Network, network, network. You don't know when you're going to need, like you're saying, you don't know when you're going to need somebody else. And, I feel like this is the opportunity. One of the things that reason why it's so powerful in places like this is because HR is one of those things that at work, nobody wants to talk to HR.
Yeah.
Nobody gets happy when HR comes into the party. They're like, oh God, HR is here. Like
Yes.
these are other people that can understand what you're going through and you can have that sense of connection. And while you can't share directly, you can still, infer different things like what are you doing for employee engagement or some of those things, or where do you go for additional information? Like these are the people. And a lot of these speakers have built the curriculum for what we're looking for the future of HR, and
Yes.
the people that are new have new ideas that we might not have thought of. There's a lot of things in HR that we just do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we do it because that's just how we do it. And
That's just
and now's the time, because we are using more tools, and that's I think one of the challenges, which we'll probably talk about. Maybe we'll talk about this next week. What do we automate and what do we not automate?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's do that.
There's so
Write that
many.
down.
Let's
Write
do
that
that.
down. Write
Where's
that
our
down.
producer? Make sure, is he still in the room? Jamie, you still in
No,
the
Jamie's drinking somewhere. He's in Nashville, so
drinking
he's
somewhere?
already he's
Yeah,
at
those Nashvillians.
he's at Brad Paisley's bar or something right now. So whatever. The on the clock though. Let's be clear, on the
Right.
clock.
Oh, good.
Um,
As long as you're paying it.
the idea of again, the people component is a huge thing, and I do want to shout out what Jeff said as well. Um, One of the most special things I think about this particular conference was we had a huge birthday party for Jennifer McClure, who spoke a couple of times at the conference as well, at the House of Blues on Monday evening. And a shout out to OC Tanner for sponsoring the party. Thank you so much, OC Tanner. All kinds of people were there who honestly haven't been on the grounds, the hallowed grounds of a SHRM conference in a long time. I'm not saying that they all came to the conference, so please don't get it twisted. I don't want it known at me, I know. But people were there, and it was so fun to be with like OG crew of years gone by that came to celebrate Jennifer. Lori Rudiman put together a phenomenal party for Jennifer to celebrate her. So super fun to see all those people together and to be able to connect. And I will tell you, my favorite part of the night is probably not what you would think I would say. Obviously, I love seeing all of my friends. I want to say at some point they started like you had tickets right to get in. It was like an Eventbrite thing, but then they kind of changed that, and so people just started coming, and there were these like half a dozen 20 somethings that came. I think almost all guys, and they had the time of their lives. They had, I don't know where they got all the drink tickets they had, but they were using them a lot. And they were dancing their heads off, sweating like crazy. I guarantee they have zero idea who OC Tanner is. They have no idea who Jennifer McClure is. They just were having the time of their lives. So the party ended, and I'm leaving with some people, right, jumping into a lift, and they came out and they were jumping into a lift. And the one dude's like, dude, where are you going next? We got to keep going. I'm like, I know you can keep going, right? Like, I'm not going with you. But
Right.
they had the time. It's one of those things where for years they'll talk like they'll remember that night, like all the fun they had and all the dancing and all the craziness that went on there. Super fun to watch. Like the younger, I really sound like an older person, but younger people really getting connected in that way and taking the risk and showing up at things like this and being out there. And they were talking to all sorts of people that again they could care less. Oh, there's Mary Faulkner. She's been writing blogs for 106
Like, I
years.
never heard of her.
Never heard of her. Never
Right.
heard of her. Lori Rudiman, who's that? Like
Right.
they don't know who these, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, of course, to Mary or to Lori, but their frame of reference is newer. They don't have the history
I
of.
will tell you, I love that. Clay was reading Lori Rudiman's book, and it was so funny. They're like, "This book is so good. Like, who's Punk
Yes.
Rock HR?" And I was like, "Tell
Right.
me what you think Punk
Right.
HR looks like.
Right.
Just let me, let me know." It's just funny, but I was I don't know if I told Lori that. So Lori, because I know you're watching, because with our millions of fans, that
Absolutely.
you have a new fan, a 23-year-old. That's always good to know that it resonated,
Mrs.
and I
Robinson.
made them.
I
So you're
Mrs.
welcome.
Robinson. Are you trying to seduce me? The what do you do? What do you have a trick about? One of the things that sometimes I hear with conferencing is people hate legitimately. I know people who hate to go into the expo hall during a conference because they don't want to be bombarded or overly sold to, or those kinds of things, and so they avoid it altogether, which I think is a mistake. But do you have tricks to, how do you deal with the scanning of your badges, the mailing lists, all that kind of stuff that being connected to as you walk around these booths might bring? Is there something you do?
I think it's because I've always kind of like rode that line of vendor user, that I'm always like, I feel like it's my cost, right? It's like my price of entry.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you for making my ticket only $2,000. Thank
Yeah.
you, so that I was able to have spaghetti and meatballs and not cold club sandwiches and bags of chips for lunch. So I feel like it's the rite of passage. But I think what's nice is that with John and I, usually with Robin and Katie, it's like, you go this way, you go this way, you go this way, so that we can all cover it. So we can share if there's anybody in particular we think that will be of interest. And so I think it's good to try to partner up with somebody, like, so that when you go in, you can be intentional, just like the conferences, you know exactly where it is in the expo hall. And because there's other things going on there, there's still networking going on, and there's
Absolutely.
probably some products, there's always something that you haven't heard of, and I think that
Always.
you, a lot of times every year, there's somebody who's solving a problem that I've been trying to solve that I didn't know that there was a software for. So I think it's always there, but like I said, I like splitting it up, but I just feel like it's I'll go to all the things, I sign up for all the things, I understand what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
then you just have to be able to manage your inbox, you
Well,
know
and there's this crazy little button at the bottom of most emails that says unsubscribe. Like if it really gets to be too much, you can control it. What's
Yeah,
the big deal if you get an email or two before you would choose to say, you know what,
right.
this isn't really something that I'm interested in or for me, I'm going to unsubscribe. Okay.
I mean, it's fine. I will tell you, there is one thing I feel the most guilty. Let me see, but do I have it in here? It is the best.
Oh my
I
gosh,
will,
you got to do that again. Look to the left and to the
did
right
you like
again.
that? Did you like that?
So Bo Derek in
Did
10.
you
Let's
did it
go
make it? Did
way
it?
back,
I think
way
that's what
back.
I was trying.
Way back. Y'all, if you don't know what that is, honestly, that might be like 1980 or 81.
I think that was the movie. Wasn't there a movie right at that
10. It
time
was
that was
called
like,
10. Yes, yes, with Bo Derek. And
it was there,
she was running on the beach and her hair was
right?
just
And it
like
was
yours.
like, and everybody called
Yes.
it the Bo Derek
Bo Derek.
hairstyle, as if
Yes.
Black people haven't been doing it for millions
Right.
of years. Remember? I remember, maybe it was only us Black women who
Little
knew.
different, little different then.
A little,
Robin Schooling, get on the internets, the interwebs, and find out the year for 10 and put that in there, please.
yeah.
You
I
know
think
she's doing it.
I think it was 19. I think it was 1980s. But go through, and I feel like you can. The other thing that you can get is that there's books. A lot of people are doing their book signings there, or they're having little mini sessions. I think those are the ones that I rather go to, are the mini sessions, than
Yes.
the big conference room, so I can
Art
ask direct
stage.
questions,
So
and I
good.
can be with a group of people that have similar interests. I mean, there's just a lot of things to go on. And it's just, I mean, it's kind of like when you go to Costco on Saturday, where you're kind of like, I just want to get the milk. I just want it. 1979,
1979. Oh Lord.
John.
I just can't. I just can't.
I just died a little inside.
I mean, really, 79. Dudley Moore and Bo Derek. It probably has not aged well, but
You made my
everyone should
octopus
watch it.
very sad.
Sad. My gosh, Jeff and Robin, never mind. I'm sorry I asked. It's my fault. Ay, ay, ay.
Oh my God, where are my Pirin tablets?
I used to be Geritol. Remember Geritol? That's what I feel.
Geritol.
Price
Listen,
is right.
I was
Pour out
watching
a
a
bottle of
commercial for
Geritol.
Tab. Look up Tab commercials, and it was like, stay on your mind of your husband and drink Tab so that your body stays on his mind while he's at work. Swear to God, I was dead. I remember.
Oh my
Just
gosh,
look up
so
Tab
offensive.
commercials, and they're hideous.
There's so much sexism in these old commercials. Like that. Remember the I could bring home the bacon to dun and fry it
Fry
up
it
in
up
the
in a pan, and never, never, ever, ever let you forget
forget
you're
you're
a
a
man
man.
because you're disgusting. DISGUSTING.
Yeah,
Hey, oh,
it
oh,
doesn't flow the same
doesn't
way, I
flow
don't
as
think.
well.
Yeah, not the same way. If
Um,
you um, yes, yes, they are, and they are still married.
you
The
are
Eric and
so
John Stewart.
funny. I thought you were
He's done.
yesing big time.
No, 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 no. Robin is going to continue. Now she's on what I do with these things. She's absolutely down a rabbit hole now with Bo Derek. We're
I
going to
know.
find out all kinds of things
All
about Bo
things.
Derek.
Please
Everybody, pay
tweet
attention.
and any other 1979 trivia that you'd like to put in the chat.
Yes,
I'm here for it.
please do.
I'm
I do want to also put in the chat as well because I know there are some absolute superstars that are here and conferencing. Like, what are some tricks for you as well? Like, how would you say and tell someone who's newer to this idea of conferencing, how do you do it well? What are some suggestions you may give? Look, for sure, and I don't know, somewhere on the Twitters, Kyra is here. Kai, you may have been the one to share this. I mean, someone had like massive band-aids on the backs of their heels and like switched to flip-flops because they wore the wrong shoes, right? You know.
Listen, let's talk about that for a minute.
You more than me because I always wear sneakers, but I
Listen.
feel like sometimes people wear these, especially ladies wear the heels like big.
Now, if anybody remembers the Jackye from, afar, I used to wear heels because I used to live in South Florida. And
Yep,
that was just the fashion it got used to. Then
that's
I
it.
moved to Oregon where I have literally Sasquatch feet and
Yeah,
all you wear are Uggs and Birkenstocks. And then now, and people who know me more recently know I wear Jordans. All I wear is sneakers. It's all I wear. It doesn't matter how nice. I can have a fancy ball gown. I will have a pair of Jordans on underneath.
yep,
Because there's something that you need to know. I know you want to look great when you're going and you want to put your best
absolutely.
face forward. If you're limping, you're not putting your best face forward. If you're cold,
Clap easy.
you're not putting your best face forward.
Oh,
Wear
and
your Skechers.
wear your. I mean, Jamie. There's Jamie who was born 82 years old. Here he is right away. Skechers.
Isn't he? Yeah. Wasn't he
No,
born in 82?
no,
Look,
no laces, slip-ons only, where I don't even have to bend down. Just let me slide my foot in.
my sister was just staying with me, and I do invest in my shoes, even though they're
Yes,
sneakers. So my sister, I let her wear
I
my
know.
slides.
I know.
It's a problem.
It's
Oh,
a problem.
my personal assistant sent me a note and was like, "Are you doing something? Where are you going?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "You've been buying a lot of clothes. Are you going out of town?" And I was like, "No." She goes, "Then stop it.
Oh my
Stop
gosh.
it."
First of all,
When
I'd be
your
like,
personal assistant is like,
who
"You're
the heck are
buying too
you?
many things." It was so funny. She was like, "Because I have to go through your email." Stop it.
I mean, oh my gosh, Kai. Oh my gosh. You see, you
And
see,
now they're going too
hold
fast.
up.
They're going too
Just
fast.
stop. Look at this. Stop with the heels and tight fitting shoes because they're cute. They're not so cute now when your heels look like the aftermath of Chernobyl.
Right? The best shoes are Hey Dudes. Stop it.
I mean, Hey Dudes. But somebody
Those are
tell me. I
real.
just found out Hey Dudes is a subsidiary of some other shoe company. I
Shut
forget
up.
which ones it is.
What the hell is
Somebody
a
tell
Hey
me.
Dude? I'm not
Oh,
doing
Hey
it.
Dude, you know what Hey Dudes are. Josh, you're right. Skechers was a vendor at SHRM. I did see that. I did notice that. You
No.
can. Hey Dudes are cool. You would like Hey Dudes actually for your Sasquatch feet. You would like them.
I do have the squash feet.
Yes,
Squash feet.
Robin Schooling is right. She brings foldable ballet flats. It is absolutely true, and she will pull those out of her little clutch and pop those bad boys on her feet. I'm serious. Crocs. Thank you, Josh. I knew that it was connected to a larger company. Yes, Hey Dudes is part of
Are we
Crocs.
losing fans now? We're all going to show
No,
up. We should have a footwear conference. We should. I would go to the footwear conference as long
I
as
mean,
Nike was there.
Skechers is there, and actually a couple other sort of like work clothing type vendors, but they're there obviously to sell in bulk, and so
Are
they're
people?
talking to you about yeah uniforms and
I mean,
stuff.
are people
Absolutely.
wearing? Were people in suits or were people in cash?
Oh
Like
no, some of the vendor hall people certainly the booth. Those that were working a booth, definitely some in suits. Some
because
speakers wore
standard.
full suits.
Well, like if most people, if you go, you should be okay if you're wearing business
Yes,
casual. You should
a
be fine.
polo
I'm
and khakis
wondering.
or something like that. It's totally fine. I
Right.
mean, here's me. I wear a polo like every day. Like that's it's just it has a collar. I like, by the way, especially at conferences, I like shirts like this with a collar because of the lanyard. If I just wear a t-shirt and it's
Right.
rubbing against my neck the whole day, I just have a thing.
And
It's
we
a
try to
touch.
match.
We do try to match.
Yeah.
We
Try to
aren't
match.
doing it. The next conference we're doing together is either. Are you doing Wreckfest?
No. The only conference I'm doing is Talent Connect. I'm doing Talent Connect in October. I'm speaking there, but I haven't signed up for anything else.
Your HR tech? No, not doing it. We got to
I'm
talk about
going to
this.
HR Tech. I'm going
Okay.
to
Well,
HR.
all right. Well, we'll be together for that one, and then I think we are. Yeah, I think, and in November we'll both be at TalentNet as well. I
Right.
think
We'll
it's
be
going
at
to be great.
TalentNet. I mean,
Yep.
for the first half of the year, I was planning on going on sabbatical and I didn't do any conferences. I'm there. I'm back now trying to get things in order.
Yes.
So
Yes. Steve Brown, this second piece of advice I just want to make sure we get. When you go to these sessions, totally love this how to conference well advice. Look around to your left and to your right and say hi to these people that are in this room with you. Everybody just rushes, sits down, and then gets on their phone and just looks down. Like, introduce yourself to somebody to the left and to the right. Hi, I'm John. How are you? Where are you from? Oh,
look at
hi.
what Steve said. I love it. Do we want to talk conference style? Because I will crush it. That's
I mean,
right.
Steve is like, "Oh, everybody keeps finding me." First of all, you're 6'11" and you're wearing a bright paisley shirt. You might as
And
well have a
he,
landing strip on your back. Of course, people are going to find you.
I love what Kyra said. Put your phone away. The internet will be there when you get out of your conference.
Say it
Put
again.
it away. Put your phone away.
Yes.
Be in the moment.
I mean, I ran into 3 people on Tuesday morning who, not kidding, who said, "I'm so sorry, I have to step away for a minute." And I love this. I have to step away for a minute because I have to submit payroll. Because we all know, like, that's where we are with some of our companies, right? Like, if you go to conference and they're like, "Look, you can go, but you're still going to have to do payroll from there because no one else knows how to do it or can cover for you." That ought to be, first of all, I understand. So let me make sure I give love to those 3 people who may know that I know. I'm not judging you. That's not what I'm saying. But I would say we've got to figure out some sort of coverage, business continuity plan. Because if that's what like, are you doing payroll when you're on vacation? I would guess you are. I would guess you are then. Like, try to train people. Conferencing, well, also may by default give you a great excuse to train somebody else in your company as to how to do some of the things that you do.
Because if you can't have to keep your phone out because of business work, you need to hire somebody or train somebody.
Or train somebody. Yes.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
just evidence. You should not,
that's
especially,
right.
it's just like if you were on vacation, you're supposed to go vacate. And if you're
Yep.
supposed to be at the conference, you really want to try to, especially like, I'm not going to be available between this time and this time. Don't miss your keynotes. I can't tell you how many times I've ran in late to a keynote
Oh my
because I'm
gosh. Yeah.
trying to
Both
like
of us.
interview a candidate or
Yep.
whatever stupidness.
Yep.
Just really try if you can. I
I
do
mean,
want
you know, I have said, listen, Michelle Obama is about to speak. I don't care where you've been touched, how you've been touched. I will call you after it's over.
Dial 911 and I'll meet you at the
That's right.
station.
File a police report. I will get right there. I did not say that. Everybody, just relax. I'm just kidding.
I didn't say that. I do want to tell you that Lauren had a great question. Is there anything that will get you to stop and chat with a vendor booth? Yes. Let me tell you what those things are.
Me too. Yeah.
Headshots, headshots where they're doing makeup and hair and
Oh
touch
my
ups.
gosh. That is
You can
such a
talk
great
to me
call
for
out.
20 minutes,
That is such a great call out. I'm so glad you said that.
right? The personalized t shirt, bag, whatever design. You can talk to me while I'm in that line. We have waited in lines for that
Yes, we have. We
and
have.
still would, because those things become very important. Customizable items, I will wait. Even there were some there, I'm not doing it for, even though we're but first coffee, I'm not doing it for mugs. I like people who are sending me mugs
Yes.
because they
Yes.
know they want me to have
Yes.
it because they're
Yes.
heavy and they're clunky. And I won't just do all the t-shirts if it's relative because there's so many.
There's so
But the I mean, and also the kittens. I'm sorry, kittens and puppies. I'll stop.
Listen, nationwide pet insurance, you will guarantee that your booth is going to be mobbed because you bring in puppies and kittens.
Puppies and kittens.
Mob.
People will stay for a full hour.
Yes, I mean people were absolutely having therapy sessions, sitting there with the puppy on their lap. Like
Yes.
legitimately could see that they were having, it was mental health for them to have the emotional health for them to sit with these animals.
And so I will stop.
Totally right. Totally right.
Anything else?
I would say on probably one other thing that I would add is I stop at vendor booths that I don't know who they are. Like
Yeah.
I will say, hi, how you doing? I'm John. I'm so sorry. I've never heard of your organization. Do you mind telling me a little bit about what you do? And I know then you're like, oh gosh, then you're going to be on their mailing list. They're going to harass you. And again, part of this is perhaps the work that I do, but as a consultant, I want to know the platforms that are out there. I want to know the tools that are coming because if I think that I'm going to build my whole life around Workday, ADP, and paychecks, I'm in trouble. Like I need to know the other things
That's
that
right.
are out there, and nobody at me because of those three companies, please. You know what I mean? Like you can't just go with these enterprise legacy organizations and think that they really are the best solutions for everything. You should know how many options there are out there and what people are doing. Robin and I ran into a company, where the heck were we, Robin? We were maybe at Unleash, and we ran into a company. And these in you and I love this too, Jackie. These like startup innovation areas, like the
Yeah.
little teeny tiny booths where they're startup or they're doing some great work. And I want to kind of hear what led them to start the company that they're starting
So
and what problem they're trying to solve.
I think they have a, I think there's a need. That's what's always interesting about the new products. They saw a need that they're trying to solve. And that's why it's something that I think I might need. Not, I don't know that I need it yet.
Correct.
But I also would
Correct.
say it's good if you want people to stop at your booth is having something interactive. I don't know. It's so much information, your brain dead. If
Yeah.
somebody had make your own trail mix, I would stop. I would
I
be,
mean,
somebody had something that I could actually physically do,
hot
something
tamales. You have
tactile,
candy machines, hot, like
hot
bag your own
tamales,
hot
popcorn
tamales, sweet tarts.
machines.
Yes,
I
bag
will
your
wait
own.
in line for those
Yes.
things and something that I can
Yes.
do with my hands that are tactile like that,
And
like make
everybody
your
knows
own candle.
I will absolutely give you the shout out. Recognition sends me sneakers. You want me to love you forever? Send me
Yeah,
sneakers. Send me. I
yeah.
love them, by the way. Recognition did a great job at the conference this year, by the way. Jeff Polkowski is not lying. My man, you throw a pair of socks on the floor. Jeff can be 4 aisles away. He will pounce on those socks and and then he does sock pictures, HR sock shot. Please look that up. Look at the hundreds of pictures of him with various socks on.
Different, like
Oh
he
my
does
gosh,
that.
yeah.
So when we do ours, we need Jeff to send us pictures of the socks for the swag report.
Yes,
And
yes.
also, if you had a shawl, I haven't seen anybody do this. Everyone is freezing at these conferences.
Oh, okay, that's not that. Okay,
Not
that
a scarf. If you had something
no.
to keep you warm at these things,
Oh my goodness, it's so
oh,
cold.
it's so cold. If you had something, I would wait.
Tiny hands, Kyra is not lying either. Like if they love these tiny hands. I don't get the whole tiny hands thing. It's a really creepy thing that some people are into. I'm just not into it.
I do like some of the games. I don't like the spinny wheels, but a lot of people like the spinny spin for a prize. A lot of people.
Plinko, y'all. Get the
I
big
love
Plinkos.
Blinko.
Yes. And by the way, it's better for the line because people can be coming up the stairs and down the stairs. It helps to get it out of the
That's
aisle
a
a
good
bit.
idea. Yeah, where you go up and you do the Plinko and then you spin, you take the picture. Yep.
Yep.
Good one.
Yep. Love the Plinko. Listen, make it interesting. There were some we walked by a couple of booths, by the way. If you want to conference well as a vendor, everybody had the same t-shirt on, but nothing else was happening at the booth. It's boring. Like
I don't want
you
to
gotta do
stand. The
something.
thing is because you look like you want to eat me, and I don't want to come over there. Look at Josh.
I mean, you, Josh, she's gonna pop you in the nose. Just what are you starting? Why are you starting trouble?
Listen, I have a new personal air conditioning unit. That's completely broken, and it's stuck on. You're going to be freezing anywhere you go.
I mean,
Cold
ooh,
everywhere you
Mark,
go.
that's a good gift. Travel wine bottle openers. That's a good one.
Jeff said he's opening an OnlyFans account for his HR socks.
Jeff, let me tell you something. You'll be moving to Florida in about 10 minutes if you do that because there are a whole lot of creepy people who want to see feet-ish pictures, socks, I'm sure. I'm telling you. Listen, and after the shot, if you put up on auction that they can actually buy the socks used that you were wearing, hundreds and hundreds per pair of socks.
Stop.
Hundreds and hundreds per pair of socks. I wish I were kidding. It is absolutely true.
I'm throwing up in my mouth a little.
It is awful. I mean, it's a horrible thing to do, but listen, my kids are all in advanced education. Daddy's got to do what daddy's got to do. So,
It's hot out there for a black woman in 20. I mean,
it's
only pants,
hard.
only
It's
socks,
hard.
only feet. I just threw up again. I just did it to
Ah,
myself.
our chat is the best chat. I'm sorry. The
It is the
stream,
best live
the
chat out there.
comments that you all make, we just appreciate it so much. All this interaction. I
Oh,
wrote,
hi, Michael.
shut it, Rock. I mean, it
He
is.
said, shut it.
I know, Michael. Listen, we understand. No shame, no shame. You want these used socks? My wife doesn't want to touch them if she winds up doing laundry before I do. So it's all good. It's all good.
Listen, I hope everybody has learned something, maybe one thing.
One thing we
Because
gave a
Kyra's this
lot of good
conversation
ideas.
took a turn.
We
It
had a
did.
lot of good conferencing well ideas. The one thing I do want to say before we go is, please conference. Like, don't just do the remote conferencing. I'm not giving the remote conference a hard time. HR Summer School was a few weeks ago. I know that a lot of people went to that remotely. I get it. I've spoken at it. I'm not giving. That's not what I mean. Don't let that keep you though from attending some things in person. There's a lot of value in heading out again, especially for those of you who maybe have been hesitant since the pandemic. It would be great to have you re-engage. We miss you.
Oh, and if you see me and John, like I said, don't forget, just walk up to us. We're not talking about anything important. I
I
promise.
forgot to tell you, I had a couple of people come up to me and they were like, I'm sorry to stop you. I watch you every week. You and Jackie are wonderful. Can I take a picture with you? Like, super sweet. Super
Oh,
sweet.
I
So we got
love
love. We got love there.
that. I love the love. And I love all of you. Thank you guys. And
Thanks
next
for
week we'll
being
figure
here.
out, we're going to talk about what we
You said
should, what
whatever
we
you
should
said.
automate,
I don't remember what you said,
what
but
we
it was
should
good.
automate with AI.
Yes, that's a good one.
All
Have a
right,
great
friends.
day.
Clink,
Clink.
clink. Bye.
Bye.